So welcome to the channel, everybody. Um, so I figured I'd just make a few quick little videos just to introduce myself, and to those who've already been to the channel, this is stuff you already know. But I'm probably gonna make one about my body mods, which will be this one about my mental health, which will be the second one, and maybe one about my locks, which will be the third one. But for my body mods, I'm only going to touch on my ears and my Libre plug. So this is just going to be a short little video. It might even be a short itself. But I have 30 millimeter ears, which is under an inch and a half, but it's like 2 fingers. I could probably maybe squeeze a third finger in there. Yeah, almost 3 fingers can fit through there. I've been stretching since I was about 14, 15 years old. It didn't take that long to get to this size. But stretching my I'm 34 now, so what's that, 19 years? Yeah, 19 years. I think. Yeah. So, this is a West African tradition. You do see a lot of white people doing it, and they do get it from indigenous tribes, but it is all an indigenous practice. So mine is not necessarily from white people. The story behind it, I did start it because of my sister, who started it because of a white girl in our high school. So this girl had these small, tiny, tiny, tiny little gauges in her ears. And my sister thought they were just the coolest things ever. So she taught to her, learned how to do it, what it were called, all this stuff. She started doing it. Me, being the chronic copycat that I was, wanted to experience it too, and I thought it was really cool too. So I was like, I want to try it. So I started doing it, and of course, we did not know what we were doing. And I mean, going from like the size of a Q-tip to the size of a straw in the span of one day. Like, just like taking a straw and putting a sharp cutting it like into the diagonal and just punching that shit through there. Like, we were not the most careful with our stretching. And surprisingly, we did not have any blowouts. But I mean, when I say brutal pain, like, we did not have the careful journey in the slightest. But we made it through. So I have had several blowouts over the years, and if you don't know what a blowout is, it's basically where the back of your ear puckers out like a butthole. Like, I don't want my video to get taken down, but if you know, you know. If you've ever seen, I'm gonna call it corn, those corn videos with those massive plugs that go up your rear end, and how blown out the rear end looks, how it just donuts out. Like, that's what the back of your ear looks like. It looks like a little fatty on the outside. The like like a fatty on the outside. Like, this would be the outside, this would be the back, and then the outside would be like this much fatter. Like, it puckers out around the back of your ear. No matter how small the gauge is, no matter how big the gauge is, it just, the backside puckers out. And you have a blowout. So basically, it's when you stretch up too fast for the ear to stretch, the skin to stretch with it. So it either tears at some point. Back there, you get a little split or a little cut, or a cut on the inside from the skin splitting open from stretching it too soon. And the whole thing swells up and just puckers out. Usually pus filled and infected, and you have to take out that size and put the the former smaller size back in so it can heal up, and you got to keep it clean and take care of it and let it heal, and let it heal the proper amount of time, which is like 2 to 3 months before you can put that next bigger size in, if it's even ready then. So I've had several of those through the years of not knowing what I was doing or being impatient, but really just not knowing what I was doing, because I never had anyone tell me there was a proper way to do it. I mean, this was all purely trial and error and curiosity for me. Now, I will say it did not start off as an African tradition for me. For me, it was just an aesthetic. It was like, this looks really cool. I had never seen it on any African American people. It was always a white dominated community type of thing that I had seen it on. But as I got closer to my tribe or my ancestral history, it became my African tradition. So for me, this is my African heritage. It no longer is a white culture thing to do. It is my culture thing to do, which is why I continue to do it now. I have taken them out over the years, let them close totally up, went back to wearing almost regular earrings. I had to wear um, the earrings with the flat backs on them. I can't think of the name of them right now, what the flat back pieces are called. But, or button earrings that just clip onto your ears or whatever, like that clip on earrings. But when I reopened them, that was after my sister got an ancestry DNA test done, which is when we've not found out we were mixed. Because, it's one of those things where you can have a mixed parent and an African American parent like I do, and so you are a mixed child. Where for me, it may not be the same for my sisters because they're light skinned, so they may automatically identify with being mixed. But for me, being brown skinned, I never thought of us as being mixed. Not even them being light skinned, I never thought of us being mixed because I always associated being mixed with a black parent or brown parent and a white parent. I never thought of a mixed parent with a brown parent as still producing mixed kids. So I never caught myself mixed, but when my sister got our ancestry DNA test done, and it was like you're white and black, I was like, oh, so we are mixed. So I've been referring to myself as mixed race ever since then because I am mixed race. But basically, it told us that we were West African, which most African Americans are West African. That's where the slave trade happened. So we're West African. We don't know exactly where, but we do know that most of the slave trade came from three dominant tribes. One is the Bantu tribe. There's two other ones. I looked all this up. One is like Yorubi, I think. And there's a third one that I can't quite remember the name of right at the moment. But we're likely from one of the three of those. Now, I don't know all the practicing traditions of those, and I don't even know if they do this, but I get my body modifications from West Africa, just West Africa in general, because I don't know what part of West Africa we come from. There's no real telling. I mean, we're likely from one of those three tribes, but we don't know. The DNA test did not specify. So when they say West African, I just say, well, West African. So there's who knows. But like, I don't know where the white in us is from, if it's from England, like when they came over to America, or if it's Germany or something like that. I have no idea. But I do know it's white and African. So there's that. I do know West Africans practice the labre stretching as well. So that's where I get this from. Specifically this. This has a mixed history for me but this is 100% Western African for me. This is going bigger. Right now, this is a 6 gauge. Um, Not too big, not too small, but it's bigger than a 14 gauge regular LeBray by a lot. Quite a lot. Almost a little bigger than double as big. Because 7 gauge would be bigger, would be twice as big because it goes from 14 to 12 to 10 to 8 to 6. So from 14 to 7, it's twice as big. 6 is 1 gauge bigger than the 7. And it doesn't start going forward like this. It's a 6 gauge. This is 30 millimeters. So it doesn't go from a 6 gauge into forward until you hit a 00. So it will go from 6 to 4, which is bigger, to 2, which is bigger, to 0, which is bigger, to 00, which is twice as big as a 0. And then from 00, it starts going up into inches measurements. So it'll be like 1/16 of an inch. 7/8 of an inch is almost an inch. It doesn't go like from 1/16 to 7/8 of an inch. It's all those millimeters in between that. But this is over an inch, like I said before. This is coming up on an inch and a half, which would be like down here somewhere. But I have no plans to stretch these any bigger. I would like, if I do, this is 30 millimeters, 35 millimeters will put me about right here. I wouldn't go any bigger than 35 millimeters if I do stretch any bigger, which is 5 millimeters bigger than this. So very minute difference. It's only 2 stretches more, and it goes up by 2 millimeters every time you stretch. So literally 2 millimeters would be the difference between the inside of this and the outside of this. So very small difference there. I mean, to me, very small difference there. But 35 millimeters obviously would only be twice as big as that. So you wouldn't visually notice a very big difference if I went up to 35 millimeters. But 35 millimeters seems a little too big to me on my smaller ear. So I think I'm going to just leave it at 30 millimeters. I'm content with that size. But this is 6 gauge. I would like to get it up to a 2 gauge, which is gonna be like, if you can see this O-ring up here, the outer size of this black on the outside of this, that's gonna roughly be a 4 gauge. Like this matte part around this shiny part is roughly gonna be a 4 gauge. And 2 gauge would be like if I put this matte part around this matte part. So I'm trying to get up to a 2 gauge. This is only 4 weeks old, coming up on 4 weeks old. So I'm not allowed to stretch it for 6 months, is what my piercer told me. So I got like 5 more months before I can even put a 4 gauge in there. It is taking forever and a day. But my birthday is September 23rd. So roughly either in August, I'm saying August 23rd, or on my birthday, on October, what is it? August 23rd, I'm going to stretch it to 4 gauge. I'm going to make a video to see if it'll go through, all that jazz. I'm either going to do it in August, or I'm going to do it on my birthday as a birthday celebration treat, gift to myself, and record it. And that'll be my first official stretch on it. And then 3 months after that, I'm going to go up to my 2 gauge and see if I like the size. I'm not doing a big LeBray plug or anything like that because I don't like when your lip starts going upside down. And I don't have a heck of a lot of space between this and my lower lip. So it's going to stay relatively small. I'm not going any bigger than a 00 no matter what I do, but I'm not likely to go to a 00 period because I don't want it to not close back up. So no bigger than a 0 gauge for me, and that's if a 0 gauge does not look massively big. So I might stop at a 2 gauge. I might be content with just having that size of my face. I might go to a 0. I don't know, but I'm not going any bigger than a 0. And I plan to tattoo my lips black. Also, West African tradition. So I plan to do that. My locks, I don't think you can't see them right now because I have them. I have crochet synthetic locks in my hair, so I have them looped around my locks through the base, and then I have my locks rubber banded down the length of the synthetic lock, so it just looks like one lock. So you can't really see my locks right now, but they're soft locks at this stage. I use the twist and rip method, which is what white people use because the hair is so soft. It tends to not lock up very easily unless you have curly hair, then it might lock up on its own. But just straight hair, they have to do twist and rip to get some kinks in the hair, and then it eventually will turn into locks. But I use that method because 2-strand twists keep unraveling, and my hair is very short right now, and I know with those chunkier twists that I want, because I want fat locks, will unravel every time I wash my hair, every time I go to sleep, every time I do anything, and they're never going to have a chance to lock up until my hair grows out, and I want my hair locked now, so I use twist and rip. They're holding up pretty well, but they're squishy right now. So it's going to take about 3 to 4 months before they turn into locks. So I'm just rocking these synthetic while they lock up, and just what I'm doing. But yeah, so that is some of my mods. I have ton more that I'm planning to do, but I'll do videos about that in the future. And if you're on the channel from the old channel, you already know all this, so sorry that I'm repeating, but this is really for people that are coming to the channel new. But those are my major mods that I'm focusing on in this half of the journey. So there's that.